What if I told you that the financial advice most of us grew up hearing might actually be the reason many people struggle with money? Study hard, get good grades, find a stable job. That's the path most of us were taught. But a few years ago, I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it completely changed the way I look at money, work, and opportunities. Hi, I'm Richard, and welcome to the channel. On this channel, we talk about personal growth, financial mindset, and practical ideas that can help us build a better future. And honestly, I wish someone introduced this book to me when I was around 15 years old, because the ideas inside this book didn't just teach me about money, they changed the way I see the world. And just to share, I actually own 3 editions of this book, revised versions released over the years. And every time I read it again, I notice something new that I didn't see before. Which tells me something interesting. This book isn't just about becoming rich, it's about changing the way we think about money. So today, I want to share 9 fundamentals from this book that truly changed my mindset about money and life. Fundamental 1. Financial education is rare. One of the first realizations I had while reading this book is that most schools teach us how to work for money, but very few teach us how money actually works. We spend years learning math, science, and history, but almost nobody teaches us how to invest, how to build assets, how businesses work. Growing up, the system taught us how to get a job and become employees, but it never really taught us how to build businesses or invest our money. And when I started reading books like this, I realized something surprising. In just a few weeks of reading about financial education, I felt like I had learned more practical lessons about money than many years in school. Real-life example. Think about someone who receives their first paycheck. Most people immediately start thinking about what they can buy, but someone who understands financial education might think differently. Instead of spending everything, they might ask, should I save part of this? Should I invest part of this? How can I make this money grow? That small difference in thinking can change someone's financial future over time. Fundamental 2. Financial mindset. The whole book is built around a powerful story. The author talks about growing up with 2 father figures. One was his biological father. He was highly educated and believed strongly in job security, education, and building a stable career. His advice sounded very familiar. Study hard, get good grades, get a diploma, find a secure job. But the author also had another father figure, the father of his best friend. This man didn't have advanced education, but he understood business and money in a very practical way. Both men worked hard, both were intelligent, but their financial futures turned out very differently. One struggled financially later in life, the other became extremely wealthy. And when I read that part of the story, it made me realize something important. Sometimes the difference between financial struggle and financial success is not intelligence, it's financial mindset and financial education. Now here's where things get really interesting, because most people think making more money is the answer, but this next concept shows why that's not always true. Fundamental 3. Understand assets versus liabilities. One of the most famous lessons from the book is understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. An asset puts money into your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. Before reading this book, I thought wealth was simply about earning more income. But the book helped me realize that wealth is often determined by what we do with the money we earn. Examples of assets: rental real estate, dividend-paying stocks, precious metals. Rental real estate can produce monthly cash flow after expenses. Dividend-paying stocks can generate income through dividends. Precious metals can preserve value over long periods. Real-life examples of liabilities: expensive gadgets, the latest iPhone or laptop bought on financing, recreational vehicles. Many of these things lose value quickly and require ongoing expenses. Understanding the difference between assets and liabilities is one of the most important steps toward building wealth. At this point, when I was reading the book, something really clicked for me. Because once you understand the difference between assets and liabilities, you start looking at money very differently. But the book didn't stop there. There was another idea that made me rethink the way most people spend their entire lives working. And when I understood this next fundamental, I realized why some people work very hard for decades, yet still struggle financially, while others slowly build wealth over time. And this next fundamental explains why that happens. Fundamental 4. Treat your money like your employee. Many people spend their entire lives working for money, but people who build wealth focus on building systems where money works for them. This could mean building businesses, investments, or income-producing assets. At first, these things require effort and patience, but once they are established, they can continue generating income. And that completely changes the financial equation. Instead of always trading time for money, you begin creating systems that generate income even when you are not actively working. This is where another powerful mindset shift comes in. Start thinking of your money as your employee. Every dollar you earn can be sent out to work for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can also think of your money as your soldiers. Each dollar becomes a soldier you send into the financial battlefield. And the more soldiers you send out to work for you through investments, businesses, and assets, the stronger your financial army becomes. Over time, those soldiers begin winning financial battles for you. Fundamental 5. Your mindset shapes your financial reality. Another powerful lesson I learned from this book is how much our mindset affects our financial life. Most people, when they see something they want but feel they can't afford, immediately say, "I can't afford it." And the moment we say that, our brain stops thinking. But the book suggests something different. Instead of saying, "I can't afford it," start asking, "How can I afford it?" That small change forces your brain to start looking for solutions instead of excuses. For example, how can I create extra income to invest? How can I reduce unnecessary expenses? How can I start a small side hustle? How can I turn my skills into income? And when you start asking those kinds of questions, something interesting happens. Your brain begins noticing ideas, opportunities, and possibilities that you never saw before. Sometimes the biggest difference between staying stuck and moving forward is simply asking a better question. I began to realize that building wealth isn't just about what you know. It's about what you're willing to learn. Because in today's world, the people who grow the fastest are the ones who keep learning. And that leads to the next fundamental. Fundamental 6. Work to learn, not just working to earn. Learning doesn't stop after school. It's a lifelong journey, especially today when technology is evolving quickly with things like artificial intelligence. We all need to continue developing new skills. Skills like communication, sales, leadership, understanding business. The more skills you develop, the more opportunities you create for yourself. Fundamental 7. Failure is part of success. Another lesson from the book is how we view failure. Many people avoid opportunities because they fear making mistakes, but failure is often part of the process of success. A powerful real-life example is Colonel Harlan Sanders, the founder of KFC. He faced hundreds, even thousands of rejections when trying to sell his chicken recipe. But he didn't give up, and eventually he built one of the most famous fast food franchises in the world. Sometimes success is not about avoiding failure, it's about refusing to quit. Fundamental 8. Build assets before luxuries. Another powerful lesson from the book is the importance of building assets before luxuries. Many people increase their lifestyle when their income increases, but wealthy thinkers often do something different. They focus first on building assets. Real-life example. Imagine someone receives a salary increase. Many people immediately upgrade their lifestyle. Maybe they buy a new car or a new phone. But someone following this principle might invest that extra money instead. Maybe into stocks, maybe into a small business, maybe into another income-producing asset. Over time, those assets begin producing money. Eventually, those assets can pay for the luxuries. So instead of working for luxuries, your assets begin paying for them.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you work, you're still not getting ahead? You wake up, go to work, pay bills, and then do it all over again. It almost feels like you're running, but not really going anywhere. There's actually a name for this, and in this final fundamental, we will cover it.
Fundamental 9. Escape the rat race. One of the most powerful concepts from the book is the rat race. The rat race is the cycle where people wake up, go to work, earn money, pay bills, and then repeat the same routine again and again. Work, pay bills, work again. Even when income increases, many people still feel financially stuck because as income increases, expenses increase too. Bigger house, new car, more lifestyle expenses, and suddenly people are working harder just to maintain their lifestyle. Just like a hamster running on a wheel, working harder but not necessarily getting closer to financial freedom. The way to escape the rat race is by building income-producing assets. Real-life example. Imagine someone working a regular job but slowly building investments on the side. Maybe they invest in stocks. Maybe they start a small business. Maybe they buy a rental property. At first, the income may be small, but over time, those assets begin producing more income. Eventually, that income can cover their living expenses, and when that happens, they are no longer trapped in the rat race. They gain something many people are searching for: financial freedom. Before we end this video, let's quickly recap the 9 fundamentals. Financial education is rare. Schools teach us how to work for money, but not how to make money work for us. Financial mindset. Our mindset about money and opportunities shapes our financial future. Understand assets versus liabilities. Assets put money in your pocket, liabilities take money out. Treat your money like your employee working for you 24/7. Your mindset shapes your financial reality. Ask better questions like, how can I afford it? Work to learn. Develop skills that open doors to new opportunities. Failure is part of success. Mistakes are part of the journey toward success. Build assets before luxuries. Let your investments pay for your lifestyle. Escape the rat race. Build assets that generate income so you are not trapped working only to pay bills. These lessons may sound simple, but when you truly apply them, they can completely change the way you see money, work, and freedom. So, here's something I'm curious about. Out of the 9 fundamentals we talked about today, which one impacted you the most? Was it understanding assets versus liabilities, treating your money like employees working for you 24/7, or the idea of escaping the rat race? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more videos like this about financial mindset, wealth building, and personal growth, make sure to like the video and comment the word RICH. I'd love to know that this content is helping you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.